Kosher Terroir. I'm Simon Jacob, your host for this episode from Jerusalem. Before we get started, I ask that wherever you are, please take a moment and pray for the safety of our soldiers and the safe return of all of our hostages. The following is part 2 of a 2-part episode of the Kosher Terroir with sommelier Efi Kotz from Recanati Winery, located in the northern Galil, and with one of their winemakers, Shachar Mamor. I was invited up to see their winery, one of the most modern in Israel, and their brand new, beautifully appointed visitor center. With all the friction on the Lebanese border and being located just 8 kilometers away, they have made the brave decision to get back into their pre-Gaza war lives and open up the visitor center for business. Though there is currently just a trickle of tourists, I believe when word gets out, this will become a major wine destination. Part 1 is a walkthrough, touring the facility, discussing many of the winery's capabilities and innovations. Part 2 is a tasting and review of some of their more innovative new wine offerings. If you're commuting in your car, please focus on the road and enjoy. If you're home, please choose a delicious kosher wine, sit back, and listen in on this very tempting wine adventure.
Shachar, you came just on time.
Yes, perfect.
Excellent.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. You're the assistant winemaker here?
No, we are 2 winemakers.
Good,
Just Kobe
good.
is the head winemaker.
Okay.
There is no assistant and
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's
That's
fine.
why I asked. That's why
Some
I asked the
wineries have.
question. So you're originally from Aretz.
Yes.
You went to school where?
You talking about winemaking school, or are you going way back to history?
How did you get here?
Okay. First of all, I grew up in agricultural farm in Kfar Tavor.
Okay.
One of the establisher.
Okay.
And we own vineyards. I planted vineyards there way back. But, I grew up in a family farm without any viticulture in it.
Yeah.
Although my grandparents used to grow for the Baron Rothschild grapes, but it was ancient, just growing almonds, olives, that kind of stuff. And I went and studied psychology. But then I was in a soul search,
Yep.
and decided to start working in some wineries. I worked in Amphora,
Okay.
and then I said, okay, that's it. Flew to Australia, studied at Curtin University, Margaret River.
Okay.
And then went back, worked in Carmel Winery as a winemaker.
Okay.
And after that, viticulturist in Netofa.
In Netofa.
With Pierre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Pierre.
And also assist as a winemaker there.
even to your peer talks about it. He's in love.
No.
Yeah, it was a special match.
Person.
He's a
He's
special
person.
Yeah.
He's a real tzaddik.
Visionist. Yeah, but after six years and during that time I established my own vineyards. That's why I left Carmel. But after 6 years in establishing also vineyards for Netofa, when I joined, they had only a few acres. We planted some more varieties, some more vineyard blocks. Came to a stage that it was enough for me, and I approached.
You're an agronomist as well.
Look, you study viticulture.
Yeah.
During your studies of winemaking, of phenology.
Yeah.
I think because I grew up in a farm and I'm more farmer than agronomist, okay? My main is oenology, okay? But of course, in Recanati, I assist and control quite a lot in the vineyards. So we have agronomists, but we work very closely with him. And we go around in the vineyards, and we have all the full control. Kobe and I were not regular winemakers because we visit the vineyards a lot. We know everything that happens there. It's not like sitting here and waiting for the grapes to arrive.
I saw the board downstairs to monitor the vineyards. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What a cool thing. I've never seen anything like that before.
It's the best wall you can ask for.
Yeah, it's so cool.
During the
because
season,
you
it's
watch,
the best thing to
you
watch.
You can watch everything happening.
Yeah, it's very comfortable to use.
Yeah.
Although everything is on the computer as well.
Yeah.
Of course. But yeah, especially in the harvest time, everything is a rush, so it's the best way to operate.
I just want to say l'chaim before.
Yeah, that's a good
I
idea.
haven't
I'm
drank
sorry.
a wine with
talking-
Shachar for a lot of time.
Tell me what we're drinking. This is a Columbard.
Okay, yeah, this is
the
Columbard.
white Columbard.
It's a white Columbard. It's a relatively new wine that we are making, second vintage, if I'm...
First, there's a 22.
The 22, right, the 23 thing. So, yeah, 100% Columbard from Telfar's vineyard.
Okay.
And you can feel it yourself, and then we can speak more about the production methods.
אני אוהב אותו יותר מ-23.
אתה יודע, זה לא נקודת זמן כל כך...
לא, נכון. טעמתי עכשיו את ה-23, והוא היה וואו, אבל הוא כבר בא עם כוח. כאילו, יש לו את הכוח של הפרי שלו. פה הוא כל כך עדין.
אני מסכים איתך. Move to English?
Let's move to English.
Yeah. Okay,
so it was off record. But
so
okay.
That's what you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I know. You said that this is nicer than the 23.
So
I did. In my opinion, I prefer this one over the 23. Although the 23 is not yet judgeable because it just bottled and not yet released to the market. We release it soon when it will be ready. But the 23, in my opinion, is a bit more fruit forward. Not fruit forward. Power of the fruit is a bit more emphasized over there.
I can understand why you say that. I mean, the yield, average yield was quite higher in 22 vintage through all the vineyards, including the Columbard and Telfares. The 23 lower yield, more concentrated fruit, more straightforward. But I think it's still, the 23 is still looking for its balance. It's going to be similar, but yeah, a bit more intense than the 22. So I can relate to what you said. This one is thinner, mineral, saltiness.
Fun fact, Yahav from Netofa was here last week. Yeah. And I gave them actually both to taste. To Yahav, the 23, I don't know why, but I had a bottle here.
Okay.
I think somebody wanted to taste here with somebody else, and I guess I left a bottle, so I opened it accidentally, and then I opened the 22 as well.
Okay.
And comparing one to each other, most people will love the 23 bore.
Obviously.
For no doubt.
Because it's more pronounced. Yeah,
it's pronounced, exactly. The fruit is over there. I mean, here it's so mellow, so subtle.
Yeah, this is more gastronomic wine.
Definitely.
I mean, all of our wines are gastronomic in a way. But
what's amazed me so far in the tasting, it's not amazed me because I've been drinking Kobe stuff for years. What's cool is the balance. The balance is just so there. There isn't anything that's like out of balance as you're drinking it. Where the rosé has acid, it has acid, but it's not like it's overpowering you. The Yonatan, the level of alcohol is just, it's not pushing against you. It's really, really just lovely. It's enjoyable. This is really, really nice.
I think what you described is part of the vision of the winemaking.
exactly, yeah.
So that's one of the questions I really have for you. Is there a vision behind what's made here? I know, I'm asking you to speak for you, not for Kobe.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But I'm sure you're basically on the same.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think this is what got us to work together because I was interviewed. I came from with my own history, and we understood that we are on exactly on the same page. Sometimes we have to discuss and see maybe here, maybe there, but the vision is quite similar. And I think it starts with the vineyards. I mean, we love growing Cabernet Sauvignon, we love growing Merlot, but only on some specific sites that will pronounce it the best. But the Mediterranean vision is clearly here. But for us, it's not only the variety like Petit Syrah or Marcellan or Syrah, it's the way we grow the vineyards, the way we communicate with the climate here. Shaded vines, early. For us, it's exact timing for harvest. Every vineyard through the vintage, the sampler go twice a week, so we won't miss the right timing.
We've discussed that.
I mean, this is where we put the most effort during the vintage series.
So
we taste and we visit.
It's hard to realize that winemakers can do that when they're moving so many bottles, when they're making so many bottles of wine. You have to have systems that are set up in such meticulous ways to be able to do that, so that it's not like you don't miss something, and it's easy to miss.
It is.
I thought that was tanks on the wall initially when I saw the squares. And then he said that those are the actual, those are actually the
squares
vineyards.
are the tanks.
No. The vineyard, the luach on the vineyard.
The luach, yeah.
The other one is the tanks. I know that.
But they're not squares. There's like a table, like the table. Okay.
The round circles.
No, the round circle.
The ones for tanks.
Yes.
That's the circles.
Yes.
The squares, what you call, is actually a table, just divided not in a.
In the laboratory, you have one big wall with the table, with
all the vineyards.
All the vineyards,
yes.
yeah. And from the opposite side, the square are the tanks.
Yeah. No. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that mimics that's the manual backup to what's on the computers.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes a whole lot of sense, because if the computers go down to say, okay, we don't know where anything is, it's meshuga.
Yeah. Not just that.
It's crazy.
You have to see. When you see it in your eyes during the season, you can feel as much as more lines on the board, the happier people are.
Right.
In the beginning, it's like as nervous as people are.
Especially the crosses on the
vineyards. When you see most of them crossed, people get much happier.
Right, I can see that, because you're moving through, you're accomplishing something. You can see
you can see the progress. It's really something, because most works don't see the progress. It just happens.
Is there a varietal that you specifically really like?
There are a few.
Okay.
We don't grow most of them.
Okay.
No, I mean,
tell me. Actually, I'm curious. Like
my favorite white.
Yeah.
Is Riesling.
It's Riesling.
By far, Johannesburg Riesling.
Yeah.
בא לי להגיד לך high five, אבל כאילו.
No, it's amazing. Yeah.
And the red is Pinot, but it should be superb. Yeah.
I know, it's hard. It's hard.
And I will never grow Pinot in Israel. I mean, some wineries make beautiful wines from Pinot, but they're not varietal wines. So for me, it's not Pinot.
The only Pinot. Wait, there's two winemakers in Israel that make Pinots that I think start to approach what you're talking about. One is Yaakov Oria, because he has thrown away more Pinot than you can ever imagine, because he wants a specific thing to come out of it. The other one is Shivi.
Shivi Drori.
Shivi Drori. He makes a Pinot now.
Yeah, I know.
Out of Batuni.
Okay.
Out of Batuni. It's not out of Pinot.
Okay.
No, I know.
We're making something between Gamay and Pinot out of Batuni.
Yes.
From my perspective.
Yes.
So this one I appreciate and can relate. And Yaakov Uria is a very talented winemaker.
Right.
But I still don't believe that in Israel it's the right variety to.
No, I didn't say it's the right variety.
By the way,
so it won't be Pinot.
Shibi also make Pinot.
Yes.
Which is in a very weird way you can relate it to Pinot, but just not the classic Pinot that you want.
No.
It's the closest thing that you can relate to Oregon Pinot Noir.
Okay.
Which is not the Pinot Noir.
And I say, if you can make beautiful wines out of the right varieties, why waste your time on something that is similar?
That's one of the reasons why Shivi is interesting, because he said, at least when I spoke to him, he said most of the Israelis, almost all of the Israeli indigenous varieties are all white. There was one red, I think, out of all of the things that he's looked at. They're all whites. And why are we trying to make Cabernet and Merlot? And
That's
He's
the
right.
professor, Shibi.
I know, that's the professor. Okay, I agree.
Because he makes Cabernet and Merlot.
No, he does. Actually,
and
his
you know,
Merlot is not bad. His Merlot is
It's not a Merlot. It's sometimes it's a gamble. You never know whether you grow it and it will be brilliant or disaster. And in Cabernet Sauvignon, we have some great sites in Israel to grow Cabernet Sauvignon, but it should be specific. Yeah. In the old days, they used to grow Cabernet Sauvignon in Kfar Tavo. It doesn't make any sense.
Just boil it.
That's because they said we want Cabernet.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody wanted
But
Cabernet.
that's a lot of the Israeli wine industry is based on. Oh, Cabernet is good. Let's put it everywhere.
Yes. No,
We are trying to change it. I mean, entry level, mid range, more and more a Mediterranean variety. The Marcelin, the Petit Syrah, the Syrah. We're giving them the right respect and space that they need. The whites, the Columbard, for us, it's quite
this is interesting. And
diverse.
Marcelin,
yeah, and Marcelin it's amazing.
it's an amazing grape. It's amazing.
The profile of red and rosé wine that you can make out of it.
Yeah.
We will soon taste the red one, and you will be amazed even more because it's a rich red without the heaviness of Israeli climate, which is amazing.
I love the aroma of Marcelin.
Yeah, it has it's lavender touch.
Well, he gave me the what you call it first, the pet nat.
The pet nat.
So when you smell the pet nat, it's beautiful, but there's something on an edge there with the smell, because it's a pet nat.
Exactly.
But as soon as you do the rosé afterwards, it's like, yeah, it's just perfect. It's really nice. It's lovely.
It's really unique. It's varietal, and it's actually one of the best suitable grapes to Israel, in my opinion. But that's a personal opinion. You don't see a lot of Marcelin in Israel, but those who make Marcelin, you will see a lot of different methods of making. I mean, more powerful, less powerful, more oak, less oak. You can see a lot of expressions of Marcelin. All of them have something in common when you taste the wine individually. So it will be less or more alcoholic or ripe, but the flavor profile will probably remain on the same level of fruitness and herbaceous spices that goes together not in a heavy way, which is, I never thought I would taste 15% alcohol, 2 years in oak barrels, new oak, and still the flavor of the fruit is more powerful than the oak.
We'll make that.
Can we say that?
I don't know. Not for the record, maybe. But you know that one of the...
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
They've come around in so many crazy ways.
ירושלים עם ליאור, דרך אגב.
Leo he's done crazy stuff, really good stuff.
Right.
I'm totally amazed
I was
by
amazed
him.
from the Marcelin.
I'm totally amazed by him. And the other group is Agur. The two of them from Agur, Ayal and Elad.
Elad is the CEO, but...
he's the owner.
Eyal is the winemaker. Eyal and Shivi. Eyal and Shivi are the winemakers.
Always
Shuki.
Shivi,
Yeah,
Shuki.
I know, it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. That's the reason why I was saying it before.
Yeah.
No, you have Shuki, you have Shiki, and the neighbors.
No, Shuki, Shiki, and
Shivi.
And Shivi.
I was like, okay, like, thank you. No, Baruch Hashem. The question I have is, what has been Recanati for you? Have you learned things here? What, like, how much has it impacted you?
A lot. First, I believe that for the first time, I was engaged with a winemaker with the same vision. And in a way, the opportunity to complete each other, me with my vineyard background and Kobe with his huge experience. I think it changed I'm going to start my 6th vintage in the Recanati, and I believe it changed my perspective in a way. You were asking about philosophy. Before philosophy, or maybe it's part of philosophy, I came to a winery when you're producing a wine like Jonathan, but you approach it like it was your most boutique, highly rated wine. I mean, you control and you decide every vineyard block from anywhere you get it from the Galil, the Golan, in the same way that you will approach this Chenin.
Which you haven't talked about, by the way.
And I think it's even a bigger challenge because you are dealing with so many tanks and it's like a gestalt. You're taking a vineyard, maybe this one is medium range quality, the other one is higher quality, and you have to get the right timing of harvesting, and you have to vision the blend, the gestalt of the wine. And I think this is what blew my mind. I mean, the way you can take so many particles and make it such an harmonic wine. This is something I haven't been experiencing in other bigger wineries in the past, and it only happened in Recanati. I think
it's a beautiful thing.
I think that the way you let your senses and creativity be pronounced, and beside being very practical and technological and visionist, it's something that I experienced as a fool only here and never before.
This is absolutely first class in everything. This visitor center is like a dream. It's unbelievable. There isn't any detail that isn't done.
And we hope one day it will actually be full of customers.
Yeah, it would be good. It would be good.
Well, it will. This war will end.
I'm sure it will be good because I can't. I'm looking at this and I'm going, wow. I am so happy I'm here today, being able to see it without a million people all around me. It's just.
Let's hope
it's going to be a million people. It's going to be a million people.
Yeah.
It really is. It's really special.
By the
Talk
way,
about the Chenin.
now the Chenin.
Okay.
The 2021 vintage.
This is the Chenin?
No, that other glass, the darker side. Now, the Chenin is all. Until now, we haven't tried any oaked wine. This is the first one that we tried actually that have been through barrels. This is a very unusual wine for us because it's in the single vineyard series. But if you saw the labels, the walls that we sell downstairs with all the picture of the vines on the label, this is no vine on the picture. You can see the label.
This is
a
the
chameleon.
This is the
chameleon, yeah.
And that's actually, as Kobe described it to me, as the chameleon is a very adjustable to the climate and changes every time. The same as this Chenin, which is very different. Every year will give you a different kind of wine. Although it's a Chenin, and what can be so different about Chenin? This, for example, is the 2021, while the 2019 was not yet released because it's not ready yet. And that's the reason the 2019, which was a colder year, as the blue label, the same chameleon in the blue shades, while 2021 was a bit, I don't know if warmer is the right one, but let's say a bit hotter year. Although 2020, which was a very hot year, got the orange color. This is somewhere in between the purple, red, orange, and 2022 is actually I haven't seen it yet.
Let me give you a background about this wine, because this wine we started producing during my first vintage in Recanati. 2019 was the first, and I came with my knowledge of Chenin Blanc from Netofa. They have a brilliant vineyard in Endor.
Which is a very warm place, by the way.
It's a very warm place, but
it's the same as this.
Yeah, but Chenin, although it's from the Loire, from different climate, it can deal with the hot weather. It can deal with different conditions, and it's so versatile. And then this vineyard is from 1975. You're getting very, very low yield every year. It's unirrigated at all.
It's unirrigated.
Yeah, just has its own balance. And we thought, what will describe best this unique wine? And we started brainstorming, and each of us sat by himself. And then we sat one day, and I told him, Genesis Robinson, she wrote about this wine, that it's the chameleon of the wine. And he said, wow, I just thought about this, and it was out of this discussion, we decided the Zikit, and then we started writing the description and everything, and there it came. And every vintage will get a different shades and use of the chameleon. Yeah.
Now, you drink kosher wine, so you're probably not familiar with all the expressions of this vineyard. But I'm a great follower of this vineyards for years. It was used to be made by Suson Yam, Zev Dunya. And his Chenin Blanc from this plot was, I mean, one of the main things that was special about Suson Yam winery, the gems, the Chenin Blanc was wow. And in 2019 actually, Recanati Winery invited me with a lot of different sommeliers.
You were in the harvest.
To harvest in Kidron, near to Gadara.
Yeah.
And what are you going to harvest? And say it's going to be a white wine. Who grows white grapes in those? It's so hot. It's like, what, 30 meters above sea level?
No, it's not above. It's just slightly above. Slightly, a few tenths of a meter above sea level. Yeah.
And it's so hot in there. Who grows grapes there? And then I saw the vineyard. Wow. It's crazy. It was the first harvest of Recanati actually, and which is not yet released, which I really want to drink. Because there is not a lot of wine that I can say, hey, harvest those balls. But, it was a sommelier event, so nobody really harvested anything.
But you drank.
We drank a lot of Recanati wine that day. And it was a great experience to see how old wine really reacted, because there was almost no fruit on the vines.
Wow.
And relating to that, we always move in parallel lines. From one aspect, we're always searching for old vines in Israel because they are quite rare. I mean, this year we're going to try old vines of Carignan from Zichron area. Our agronomist recommended and found it, and we're going to try it. And of course, we have the wild Carignan in the Judean Hills slopes.
The wild Carignan was the first Carignan I ever tasted.
I actually want to bring one more wine before Shachar, as I think is going to leave us soon. And work is going, but I want to taste one wine with you.
Okay, no, I'm good. Okay. So I was mentioning parallel lines. So yeah, old vineyards, but always a search for new sites, exciting sites to planted vineyards. You obviously heard about the Odem series.
Sure.
So this is, more than 1,000 meters above sea level, a very unique terroir. Expression, everything you grow there is, the story about the Odem vineyard is. The Odem project. Besides Recanati, is signed by on the name of Ido Amar. He was the grower. He was the one that the professional guy that helped the other unexperienced grower to establish their vineyards, because they are young people from the Odem village, and he also was the one who planted and grew our own project of Recanati, the only vineyard that is owned by Recanati. Pazra, also in the Ramat HaGolan.
We own the land there?
We don't own the land, they were a contract, but contract for many decades. And this is him. He died in a tragic circumstances while working the field with a tractor. Got hit by a small wire and just killed him on the spot on the vineyard.
Wow!
And he done an amazing job. And after that, it took us a long period to get back on the horse.
This is probably the most terroir forward wine you can ask for. I mean, when you're talking about specific terroir and how to learn the terroir and to treat the grapes and plant and grow everything to really express the terroir and not just the result that you want to, that amount of fruit or anything like that.
I have my own vineyards, okay? and I have the possibility in the future to make wines out of them. It won't be kosher, but it won't be kosher at this stage.
It has to be kosher. You have to make kosher wine.
Today,
But I want to touch.
I know.
I want to touch.
I get you. I hear you.
it's not just about the touching. For a winemaker in a small production, to hire people to do the
it's
work
not economic.
instead of him, it means the wine will have to be
You don't.
extremely expensive.
You're Jewish. They shouldn't have to do that.
I agree. If
okay?
that
You
was the
shouldn't have to do that.
Rabbanut way of looking at kosher,
Yeah.
it was
should
much
work.
easier and better for all the industry.
It is. Well, I don't care if there's
not as easy.
hashgachot. There's some people who want himisha hashgacha on wines and this and that. I don't care if they want that. That's great. So you won't drink any wines except they have this hashgacha. But don't tell me I can't drink Sfera, or I can't drink Margalit, or I can't drink this, because you want to ban all of these people. Let me decide whether or not that's the level of kashrut I want, rather than it be. So I'm not trying to make it a free-for-all. I just think like there's so many creative people here, and there's so much incredible wine that's coming out. So
Definitely.
yeah.
And
Kobe, I know from his wines as well.
Brilliant wines.
by the
Yeah,
way, if you look at this industrial area in the
I have
Lyon,
some of his wines that are
do you
what he
still have the
produced
blonde
through
one?
Yossi. Yeah, I have the white. I have the blonde.
In this industrial area,
Yeah,
you're going to have soon 15 wineries.
I know. I was going to say this is crazy. I came through here. I saw at least 4 wineries that I know.
Exactly. And when you think about Israeli wineries, you don't have to go that far to get so many different styles and producers that make quality, interesting wines. Just
We've had
drive 2 hours, as you said.
We've had our house in Yerushalayim since 1984. Okay, but we didn't make Aliyah until 8 years ago. 8 years ago, we made Aliyah. When I made Aliyah 8 years ago, there was maybe 30 wineries that were in Israel.
No, there were more. 8 years ago, there were more.
It's now over 300, probably over 400 wineries. It's crazy how many wineries are here. And it's like,
Definitely.
it's unbelievable. It's wonderful. I love it. I love it.
Unfortunately, the north, which is the main, let's say, most of the wineries in Israel are up in the north.
Yeah.
You have some in the Judean area, a lot of actually in the Judean area. You have some in the coastal plains, like Shfela.
Yeah.
You have some in the Shomron, but like really little amount.
Now there's a group
And
in the
most of them
Negev.
is in there is 5 main regions, and most of them have some wines. When I'm saying some, I'm saying less than 30 wineries.
Yes.
For example, if you go to the north, from
It's
the lower
everywhere.
Galilee and up,
It's
you will
everywhere.
find hundreds of wineries,
Right.
from small to big, that produce a lot of interesting, very cool, very different kind of winemaking.
Right.
And different use, sometimes from the same varietals, sometimes even from the same vineyard, but you will find different expressions of different wines. And that's amazing to see, because nobody treats the area as a region.
Right.
As sometimes, in some time when maybe it should be a region.
I think it will be. I think it will
maybe
be.
it might be
God's help.
not that far away as
No,
we
no,
think,
I
but
think it'll be, because Judean Hills is trying very hard to make themselves that region.
they already made the recognition,
Yeah, they
and
did.
I know that more parts, the Negev is going to be the next one probably.
No, but
And-
here, absolutely has to be. It has to be.
And there is the IPVO map that we developed in the Organization of Winemakers of
Winemakers.
Israel.
Yep.
A map of different regions,
Yeah.
and we are trying to make it official.
You live where?
I live in Kfar Tavo.
Okay,
I
Kfar
came
Tavo.
back after many years of travels, and yeah, there is a big.
the view, we crossed the Tavo River, we crossed Nahal Pelech,
יש את נחל יבניאל.
Yavniel גם היה נכון. We crossed
No, it's
some
amazing,
places.
amazing region.
It's a place to just travel. It's so beautiful. And you can see Jordan, Syria, and Israel, which is crazy,
So he used to be the sommelier at the Mamilla Hotel.
which is next to his
So
house.
next to my house. It's very inconvenient that he moved to the Golan. But
No, but I
that
kept the
said-
place in a good hands.
You
although he
did,
left now as
you
well.
did. They're very good. They're very good. They're very good to me too. But even with that, it's So my first question is, what'd you come here for? And you can see.
Look around, that's it.
I know, you can look around. It's
When
amazing.
people ask me from Jerusalem, when are you coming back? I'm like, have you ever been to the Golan in the last 2 years? No? Okay, so when you do that, tell me when you're coming in. I live in a moshav, which have no grocery store, but have 5 wineries. Really?
It's amazing.
It's
Absolutely amazing. The winery here is just unbelievable.
it is a beautiful place,
It's
and
unbelievable.
I wish someday this stupid war will be
It'll be over. It'll be
It
over
will
soon,
be
with
just
God's
a
help.
memory, not a good one.
Nah. Who knows?
And this place will work normally. I mean, right now we decided we're opening the visiting center. We thought June is a nice month to start. It can be worse outside, it can be better outside. We will open. Let's see what happens. Even we were downstairs, I got a phone call from Dalton Winery visiting center manager. Are you crazy? Did you just open? Because he saw like, I don't know, the thing we send on flyers or by WhatsApp groups for the locals. Like, did you really open the visiting center? You saw what's going on outside? We
So
opened.
you know
Why
what?
should we stay closed?
So you know what? I'm so happy you said come.
Right.
Okay, because I said to him, I'm looking. My watch every time there's a missile or what have you, my phone and my watch go off, and over Shabbat, it was like
crazy
crazy. It was absolutely crazy. It was just like on Friday night. It was like
You had a
should
good
have.
time in Kafrisin.
Yeah, but I've heard, I stayed tuned.
yeah no.
It was crazy weekend.
And driving up here, we saw fires along the sides of the roads.
Yeah.
And some of the fires in Sfat, right outside of Sfat, there was a fire. So we saw that. But you know what? I'm so happy you said to come because there was no traffic. It was
That's
a
the
wonderful
benefits.
ride. It was fast. And it's just beautiful here. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. So.
No, it is beautiful. It's so
Please,
crazy
God, it'll just be
outside
safe.
that it's. I mean,
All of these
I
people
try to
from here, by
travel.
the way, are
here.
my next door neighbors in Jerusalem because they moved half of what you call it, Kiryat Shmona, and all of they moved them all down to Yerushalayim and to that area, and all between Yerushalayim and Tel Aviv. They
No,
moved them
people
all.
are really aware to the war in Gaza.
Yeah,
People talk about the
but
war in
people
Gaza
don't
all the
understand
time.
what's going on here.
It's crazy.
That was the other
We
reason I
have-
wanted to do the podcast.
Crazy situation outside, and it's like, what, the 8th month we're doing this?
Almost
Yeah,
8 months.
the biggest, all the people who were down south moved home. The
Most,
people,
yes.
not all, but most of them moved home.
And
The
it's
people
going to
from
happen
north-
sooner or later. But
People
here,
from north, nobody moved.
Nobody
home.
can move.
Nobody
back
can
home.
move back.
I mean, we have in one of the people working in the winery, Pizzi. She's in charge for the inventory of a lot of things in the winery. She lives in Iftach. She was evacuated at first, and then she decided, I'm going back home. I don't care. And she's probably the only living soul besides of the army in Iftach. But she said, I don't care. I go home.
yeah, she said, I want my life back. Even if it's crazy now.
It's crazy.
Okay, it's a shame, but I have to move.
You have to work.
Thank you,
It
Shachar.
was a pleasure.
Thank you.
We're going to try some reds now.
Enjoy then.
No, toda.
See you later. Bye.
Bye, toda. We didn't talk about this one, but this is terroir. You see this? This is the picture that you can see on the labels as well. This series of 3 bottles is actually planted on the 1,050 meters high, above sea level height. And this is the Hermonite, Tel Hermonite, which grows just before Emek HaBacha.
Yep.
The valley, the flower is the Recanati logo.
Yep.
And then in the middle of each of them, there is the part in the vineyard that goes
that
for this
grows
varietal. Now, and then you go up to the Hermon mountain. This is Odem, which is the closest part of the Hermon. Now, this Sauvignon Blanc is, when I tasted before it was labeled. I came back from Miluim by the end of December, and there were tastings here. So let me taste. I haven't tasted wine for 2 months. So they gave me taste, and they taste a lot of the different wines of the winery as well, Galil and many more. And I thought, so you're making and this was blind because they wanted to see what do we think about the wine, not me. it was Asaf, Kobi, Shachar. And like, oh, you're doing like a taste of Israeli wines, our wines, like against French examples of the variety? And they're like, really, that's what you think? Because the Sauvignon Blanc is French, it's Loire. The bitterness, the green fruit, the green grass, the oak, the Fouille Fumé, those area. Sancerre, Fouille Fumé, that's what I was thinking about, the limestone, the lime flavors.
It has that. It has all of those elements. It's
Exactly.
really
And
nice.
I thought, oh, so you're doing like Israeli Sauvignon Blanc, because we taste the Galil as well, comparing to like French. Like, really, that's what you think? And then the Merlot, like, wow, what's like Pomerol? The Land de Pomerol? And then they reveal the ball, and it's like, Odem.
Where did that come from?
It feels cold.
Right.
It feels like cold Sauvignon Blanc,
Right.
not the tropical New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc.
100%.
And it's amazing.
It's 100%. You're right.
And this is the uniqueness of the terroir in Odem. I'm going to put that here for a second and come back with some red wines. So this is Bituni. I love this wine. My favorite red. It's a red wine that you can just enjoy. You don't have to think about it too much. As I call it, a fun wine. It's fruity. It's not tannic almost at all.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah, no.
It's the label is in 3 languages, which is not very common in our wines. Only 2 wines have that: Hebrew, English, and Arabic, because it's grown by a Palestinian grower in a very unorthodox method of wine growing. As you can see, it's in a pergola. It's not the classic grape shape of winemaking.
Yep.
It's delicious. I mean, I can talk a lot about the wine, but I just enjoy it. Look at the color. Look at the.
I know, it's just so. This is going to be incredible, the Bituni.
I enjoy it so much. I keep always a few bottles of this in my house. I put them in the refrigerator.
Yeah, because, yes. So far as-
They're so much fun to drink. It's amazing. This is the Carignan, which is also very light color.
It's very light.
Now, the Bituni spent a year in barrels. The Carignan is unoaked. And the Bituni is whole clusters fermentation. This is a regular fermentation. Well, part of it is a little bit of clusters, but most of it is regular fermentation. The idea of this Carignan came actually to bring something younger to Carignan. Because you know the Carignan.
Yep.
As you said, it was the first Carignan you've tried in Israel.
It was the first one, by far.
And it's very unique. Now, it's a very old vines with no irrigation in a low area that gives you very, as Shachar said, very low amount of yield. Not much fruit. In hundreds, not in thousands of per dunam.
Wow.
Which is nothing. And we try to make from this Carignan the best we can, but it's very limited amount. This planted next to Stab.
Stop. Okay.
Right next to the old wine Carignans.
Yeah.
It's just the next plot. There's like a path between those 2 plots.
Yep.
But this is young, still irrigated. It will also grow in the same goblet growing pruning method, but it's still young.
It's goblet.
It is, but it's still young, so it doesn't really show the same as the Carignan that we know from here. And we hope that with time it will be in the same quality. But until that, we probably the only winery in Israel that says young vine on the label.
Wow.
You will see a lot of old vine.
Yeah.
Kvanim Bogrot. Every 15-year-old vineyard is Kvanim Bogrot.
Yeah.
But nobody says Kvanim Tzirot. Which is funny. I've tried a winery from Priorat in Spain.
Yep.
Memoria del Rambam?
No.
It's a kosher Spanish wine.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting winery. You should try it, by the way. Spanish winemakers, Spanish winemakers.
I know a number of them.
Not LV and
It's not LV, and it's not what you call
it's called
it.
Memoria del Rambam.
Okay.
They have very unique wines. You'll probably love them. Anyway, so he has plots of Boval.
Yeah, Boba.
And he calls his 120-year-old Boval old vines. The 80 years old Boval is the lowest.
It's just
series.
regular.
And here, every vineyard that comes to 15 is like old vines.
Yeah.
It's different. But anyway, nobody calls it young vines. And this is one of the most interesting examples of fresh, juicy, fruity kind of Carignan with a lot of spices in the back. Earthiness that comes in the companion with the fruit. And again, something that you can drink in the summer.
It really is light and nice.
Mm-hmm. There is tannins. I mean, they're here, they grab
You
your
can
mouth,
feel them.
but they're not too powerful or
Yeah.
strong that you cannot drink.
I agree.
And they actually combine together to a very elegant, nice wine that you can enjoy just like that. It's not a classy form of Carignan, and it's definitely not trying to be Pinot, Gamay, or any of those. It's a light version of Carignan. And it's beautiful because, I mean, we're now sitting in the air conditioning, everything is perfect.
Yep.
But outside is almost 40.
Yeah. Outside is really hot.
That's not the best temperature to enjoy red wine. And this one you can enjoy in the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, just
no,
imagine
it's
you're
very
sitting on
light.
your balcony and opening a bottle of wine.
Yeah. 100%.
That's the idea of it.
Okay.
And together with the Bituni, I think maybe two of the lighter wines you will find in Israel. Now, by the way, the Carignan, the same as the Columbard, by the way, is a series that released in the beginning only for restaurants. And because of the high demand, we're actually releasing the next, the 23rd Columbard will be in a bit bigger amount, so it will be to stores as well. And the Carignan is actually, we don't have much more to make, but we also will sell it in stores, but in a very specific store that can actually explain the wine.
Okay.
Because if somebody will come to a store to look for wine and he will get this, you want to understand the uniqueness of this. This is a wine for people who already know big wines and know to enjoy the actually light, fun wines, not only the big bowls.
What's the pricing like on something like this?
We sell it here, which is, I think, the average market price for 80 shekels.
Okay.
That means you can find it in less.
And the Bituni is priced where?
109.
109. It really is interesting. It's really a.
The Bituni is one
It's
of my
almost like
favorites.
it's almost like. It makes me think of strawberries.
Definitely,
a little
that's
bit,
the
yeah.
flavors.
I mean,
That's the
it's
profile
like-
flavor.
Yeah.
Like with Gamay. It's interesting. We said the kashrut says El pi heter mechira here, but it's actually supposed to be a fun nochri. But I think we just don't write it on the wine, although it's in Arabic.
Okay.
Anyway, we started with the light ones, although they're a bit higher series. I'm skipping the Jonathan Red, which is also the same idea of the Jonathan White, but in red wine.
Yeah.
It's based on
okay.
Syrah, Petit Syrah, and Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay.
And I'm actually switching to Galil. Galil is this series. We didn't try Galil so far.
Yes.
Galil is the mid-range of the winery.
Okay.
It's priced for 60 shekels. Usually before, in Chagim and stuff, it's 210,
Okay.
which makes it around 55 shekels the bottle. And it's, if you take the Jonathan, which is a great value for money for a very simple, fun kind of wine, this is the value for money for the complex wine. It's, I think it's 9 months, I can't remember, 6 months in barrels. As you saw in the cellar, the barrel cellar, it's all 500 liters barrels. Most of them are not new. So we will get development, but not overpowering anything. Anyway, this is a Syrah.
This has got such a beautiful.
I always bring it as an ace in wine tasting, usually blind tastings.
Yeah.
I bring like 3 bottles in blind tasting. 2 of them are like, the Marcellan or something like that.
Yeah.
And this, which is like half the price.
Yeah.
And people always price it in hundreds.
150 and
Exactly.
200.
And this is a 55, 60 shekels bottle. Now, when you're a small producer, you cannot make this kind of quality in
that price.
But when you are our size producer, which is a big one, not the biggest one, but in the big scale, and you saw the tanks downstairs, we don't just think about making a lot of wine. We think of the quality of each wine separately and how to make it
I saw that totally because there's no one who would keep that many tanks.
Small ones.
Yeah, in order to be able to
Exactly.
keep everything separate.
On one hand, we are a very big commercial winery, over 1 million bottles a year. But on the other hand, we try to make it as boutique. It's not really boutique, but as a small producer as we can, because we try to keep it,
Who does that?
loyal.
Who does that? Is that?
I know. This is one of the reasons I wanted to work for Recanati and not for any other winery that I was, offered. All right, next wine.
Yes.
This is Marcellan that I only brought because we already tasted 2 versions of Marcellan.
Yes.
Now this is opened from yesterday.
Okay.
I opened it to a few guys, actually from Jerusalem that were here. So it's not as just opened. It's a bit more.
I'm sorry. I really enjoy chocolate with red wine.
Why not?
That's
It's a
my
great
craziness.
preference. It's a
Yeah, I
great
know. I
preference.
know.
But again, not to the very tannic ones. I mean, for the next one, it won't work for you. Actually, let me have the glass of yours, and I can pour you some of these wines. The wine.
Yeah, so that it'll
Wine.
start.
Because this wine needs time.
This is what?
A Merlot.
This is a Merlot.
We've discussed a Merlot before. This is a Merlot. What we have now is a Marcellan, coming from Kidmat Tzvi, only Kidmat Tzvi. I live in Kidmat Tzvi, so I practically walk my dogs in the vineyard every day.
The Columbard is wonderful. The one she took, which was the what you call Marcellan,
Really Marcellan.
was just great.
Now, this Marcellan, by the way, because the Guide Marcellan made from Marcellan from 2 vineyards, one in the Golan Heights, Kidmat Tzvi, and one in the Golan Heights, Tel Fares, which is lower Golan Heights. This is 100% Kidmat Tzvi, but this is in a different part of the vineyard. You have several varietals though, and you have one vineyard for Kidmat Tzvi, Marcellan for the red, and you have one for the rosé, which is 2 different ones. They're not even close to each other.
Wow.
And you can see the differences from many different aspects. One of them is much windier, like really much more wind in the area, and one of them is a bit higher.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was the Marcellan, which is, I find it really delicious because it's there, it's present, it's rich, and not heavy. You know what? No, before I take any fruit, let's switch to the Cabernet. Merlot.
Merlot, right.
Now you can see this is the Merlot, this is the Sauvignon Blanc that we have.
Yeah.
This is the Cabernet. This is a bit small. It's enlarged, so it looks big, but it's
a much smaller.
The Cabernet is the biggest
region.
one. Those 2 are small. We made around 3,000 bottles of each. The Cabernet is a bit more. You can see there is 3 subplots of Cabernet. 2 of them are from west to east, and one is from south to north to south. To get a bit of the differences inside to make the blend complex. The Cabernet is really rich and interesting, a bit closed at the moment, not yet really ready. The Merlot is a bit more ready. And although it's a Merlot and a Cabernet and a Sauvignon Blanc, which are not Mediterranean varietals, the growing, the making is suitable for the Mediterranean idea of the winery. Are they Mediterranean? No. not anyhow. But are they more suitable of drinking in Israeli climate? Definitely. The fruit feels cold. It's not ripe cherry chocolate Merlot.
No.
It's fresh red fruit. It's fresh herbaceous green.
It's balanced, it's across, but I'll tell you, it's far less enjoyable than the others that you've had so far. The Sauvignon Blanc that was Odem has just such an interesting element to it. It's like it's tickling all of the things that all of the different sensory places that you want it to do. This is it's new. It's what is it? It's a 2020. So this has got years. It's really closed.
Anyway, I think we tasted the essence of Recanati winemaking. I didn't brought you all the classic Cabernet Merlot, all those.
Thank you.
Those you can find anywhere. Those it's a bit more difficult to find. And this, for example, it's not that difficult to find. Just most of people just go past it.
Yeah, they ignore it. They go
what do
over
you mean 50 shekels bottle? No, it's probably I will take Gamla.
Give me a little more of the Syrah. Just a little bit.
When you think about Gamla, you say, "Oh, I'll pass," right? By the way, Gamla Sauvignon Blanc 2023, beautiful. Like classic was New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
But beautiful and not expensive.
Each one of these is extremely balanced, and the taste.
You know what's funny about the Syrah? A month ago, something like that, Pierre was here.
Yeah.
And he gave him some wines to taste, and he's like, "Wow, this Syrah is so good, and for that price, I must take a bottle to show my staff in the winery." Mm-hmm. So we took a bottle, of course. And 2 days ago, Yav was here, the CEO for Netofa.
Yeah. Oh.
And he was here, and we tasted some wines, and I gave him the Syrah as well. And like, "Wow, this Syrah is so good for this price. I must take a bottle for my staff." They both took the same bottle to show their staff. Anyway, so this was like the idea of Recanati industry, making of wine.
Yeah.
Now, of course, again, off record, as in any other wine, you can see some things that you like more or less, but the idea is really different. They really want to bring terroir to the center, to bring less oak, less alcohol. Just walk outside, sit outside, and tell me that you want a powerful red wine.
Right.
It's impossible.
I know.
And we live here. That's why Recanati really tries to make a difference in that.
I love it.
And I wish it will work, because people are buying the wines, but not enough people are knowing the idea behind Recanati. People remember old Recanati, which was not amazing.
Right.
But the change that Recanati, the transformation that happened in the last years is amazing. I mean, take the Jonathan. It's amazing for what you pay for.
For the price, it's unbelievable.
And you saw the technology downstairs.
Yeah.
2 press machines.
It's become crazy.
It's all to make even the cheapest wine really,
Great.
really high level. And this is what, most of the effort goes for the Jonathan, not for the Odem. Odem is easy, just not ruin it. To balance Jonathan is much more difficult.
Thank you very much for being on the Kosher Terroir.
Of course.
No, this is great.
It's always great to see you and taste wine with you. It's always a pleasure.
It's amazing for me.
I'm glad you could see this and to get through
I really
all the way
wanted
here
to come. I really wanted to come and see it. This is most of what I wanted to do was to be able to say, "Hey guys, we've got these wineries that are sitting here and that are just special and they're open. Come on." This is Simon Jacob again, your host of today's episode of the Kosher Terroir. I have a personal request. No matter where you are or where you live, please take a moment to pray for our soldiers' safety and the safe and rapid return of our hostages. Please subscribe via your podcast provider to be informed of our new episodes as they are released. If you're new to the Kosher Terroir, please check out our many past episodes. And thank you for listening to the Kosher Terroir.